Good day, everyone, and welcome to Hope Alive for Obedient Family TV. On a good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever on a day. On a don't hear the one will be saying they happen for Nigeria. The Supreme Court of Nigeria don't already do wetin they won't do since, because we don't they talk am since say see the plan, see waiting and everything where we they talk since na im materialize. Because if you know Nigeria, you go know say see how things they work for that very place. You go know, because from head till toe and all the plans where they hatch since na im they exposed today. You can imagine the main court, the highest appellate court in the land that is supposed to uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria failed to do so, and woefully too. You go see how people they happy say it don't find us. So, but wetin we carry come today, we dey still they talk about hope where they alive for Nigeria, because we no go comot talk say hope no day again. Hope day, but the hope where dey no be the hope where dey for the Supreme Court. That one don't pass. Everything wey concern Nigeria presidential election for Nigeria don't come to an end today, because now this Supreme Court na be the last. But we still trust on God, because the next appeal where we get now the one where they go for God, and that one go reach the hands of all the people where be say them be man of God everywhere, to see how them go feel rescue Nigeria, because now God hand it there now. No be say we no fit take our own action, but that one depends on how we want take follow am. If na hunger, it don't already dey for land and all that. So we go discuss today the implications of wetin happen, because the Supreme Court first then disregard the issue of perjury. That's one. They disregarded the issue of forgery of that CSU certificate. That one another talk. They disregarded the issue of the CSU main things that came out from there, and the $460,000 for future. All those ones were swept under the carpet. But there is one thing I want to convey to all the obedience worldwide who are watching us right now. There is one man that won the presidential election in Nigeria 2023, and that man is Peter Gregory Obi. That is the man that is the winner of Nigeria's presidential election. And not be only me they talk several others. So it go still there for our mouth, it no go come out. And we get our own inclination, we get our own belief, and we all the things where we know say be true. But we know say Supreme Court know they base their something on the truth. Then they look at facts. Whether they talk say our lawyers present the matter in bad shape, na then sabi, because na technicalities na then deal with. So today we go look at those things, and we go also look at the implications, and going forward from here, how we go take the waka, how we go take endure this very renewed hopelessness, according by Kenneth Okonkwo. How we go take endure, and we will be say we there for the other side, and people where they the other side, how moving forward, how we go take handle them. And then we go also bring the transcript of the court proceedings for today. Make una see how technicality overcame or overrode our own constitution. Not be only me go talk all of these things. I get Angel for this studio, I get Esther, and our own Maxwell where we say go analyze these very things, give us, then follow us. So now welcome.
Good day, my well-meaning Nigerians, my lovely and intelligent, obedient worldwide. Welcome. There your neighbors say hope day, but not in our leaders, but in God. What a sad day we have in Nigeria. Justice died. Nigerians mourn. Nigerians have been stripped off of their citizenship. Nigerian courts, where technicalities works when you have money. What a bad day. Welcome, let's discuss.
Yes, so my fellow obedient and well-meaning Nigerians, on a good day from wherever you are. My people, the Supreme Court of Nigeria, who don't say as the Supreme Court of Nigeria, don't give INEC a pat on the back for conducting the worst election ever in the history of Nigeria. Every sane mind knows that Peter Gregory won the 2023 presidential election. But my people, nevertheless, we take fast and we take solace. Our confidence be say nature abhors dishonest gains, and it has a way of paying back in its own way. So let's keep our hope alive. Our hope never still die. Our hope this time is there for God and not for the judiciary. Welcome and join us on this discussion.
Yes, so wherever you dey join us from, make you na whether you dey join us for Zoom or you dey join us for comment section, make you give thumbs up, make Obedience Worldwide, make them know say Obedient Family TV don't come. And I will also inform on say as today will be the day where they don't already complete the marathon race where we start from 25th of February reach now. The Obidati family that we are in from today will be known as Obedient Family. Now this transformation is as a result of the ending. This is to show that the presidential election has ended, but the obedient movement continues. So the Obi and Dati that is constitutional as of today, they have ended it. But what they did not end as of today is the obedient movement. We still have ourselves together. We understand the values that we are told. We understand what P2B stands for, and that's why we renamed this very platform as the Obedient Family TV. Hope you guys also appreciate the transition to Obedient Family TV. The same thing, nomenclature, but at the same time we need to point it out so that we all understand that we remain the voice of the obedience worldwide and all well-meaning Nigeria. Now, getting into the issues of the Supreme Court, why we expect our own UC Maxwell to join us on Zoom to analyze all of this. Let's look at the transcript, the things that were coming out from the courts. And one by one, if we look at the 25% of FCT, categorically, it has been put to rest in Nigeria. So meaning that 25% of FCT, as we know, is now something that is not required according to what the Supreme Court has said. It's not required. So you must not win FCT to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it has, that very question has ended. Now, what that also goes to say is that the Constitution must be revisited by our legislature. One, Abuja needs to be classified as a state which should be given a governor as a state. That means we need to look at that constitution and push it straight so that Abuja people will become independent, so that they can decide that the person who is from their place is the person who is going to handle the affairs of that very state. That is the meaning of that. So let's get to the points of this summary of the Supreme Court judgment. So the Supreme Court has rejected the CSU evidence. They said the law does not permit amendments. Whatever that means, we don't know. The judge said, I wonder how the appellants plan to use the documents from Chicago State University. That is what Okoro said. Now, if we look at what he said, does that mean that they does not know what came out from there, or the certificate that the Constitution says that somebody must not forge that is coming out from CSU? Anyway, I said the judge went on to say this motion is after 180 days as prescribed by the law. There is no way this motion can be sent back to the lower court to try the matter again. This court cannot carry out what the lower court cannot do. there is no doubt that the deposition is one of substance, and that is why the appellants are seeking to introduce it. So if they know that that is what the appellants are after, and they know that it has substance, and we know that there's a place in the Nigerian Supreme Court that gives them right to take new evidence, why can't they invoke that very law? But let me go to number 2 of this very summary, trying to summarize these things quickly. After the expiration of time of the petition, no amendment shall be made. He reads the contents of the Electoral Act 2022. Nothing can be clearer than the above provision. He said, a petitioner shall not be permitted to amend their petition 21 days after the filing. So it means that when you have a subpoenaed people that you want to subpoena, that you need to go to court and then obtain the subpoena from court to tell the person to come. So it means you must do that within the 21 days and put all your documents together. They said that on section 285 of the Constitution, the appellants argue that there is no such limit as 180 days on which the lower court can hear matters of the election petition tribunal. They said it is shocking to have the above arguments. It is an unnecessary joke, according to them. It is unfair to suggest that we go back to the previous laws. The lower court is bound by section 285, subsection 6 of the Constitution. They had to prove their case within the 180 days, and this expired since, according to them. So, judging from that, they are just talking about the time of the evidence and all of that. Now, 17 September, of course, that is 2023, that is when those things has passed. The lower court, therefore, had no jurisdiction. Consequently, since the lower court had no jurisdiction, it follows that the Supreme Court also has no jurisdiction to do that. Now, Olanipekun said Atiku did not invite APC and INEC to the CSU case in the US. Therefore, the case is invalid and should be struck out. That is what Olanipekun, of course, said. Still on the PDP, on Beavers and IREF. So, Justice Ian Okoro said whatever occurred on IREF portal cannot be a ground to dismiss the petition. They have not shown, he's talking about the petitioners, that there was any miscarriage of justice. They have not proved substantial non-compliance in the manner that they are supposed to. They said only if they tender originals or certified true copies can they prove substantial non-compliance. Now, failure to transmit on IREF did not affect the election result. That is what they said. That no matter that there was a substantial proof that IREF malfunctioned on that very day, that it does not affect the result of the election. The court had also agreed with Justice Samani's ruling regarding the 25% constitutional requirement of Abuja. Justice Ian Okoro said categorically that Abuja is not special and is to be considered as a state. So, in all of this, they simply meant that Abuja is on its own, and they have jettisoned the Constitution as we understood it. This is the highest court of the land. We are bound by what they say. We just have to go back to drawing board and make sure that the Constitution is redefined, or else whatever they have interpreted here today is what is binding and nothing else. So, and before I continue on this page 5, I want to reiterate one thing clearly. They said categorically that every agent that participated for each of the parties should have been the ones to come and testify in court. So meaning that if we have about 1,000, 100 and something thousand polling units, that is this, they are expecting all of these polling unit agents to come to court and testify. That is what I am understanding from what they are. But of course, our own Maxwell will come and make that very things clear. Now, continue on these 5. The Supreme Court have agreed with Samani in 100% of the issues so far. They have struck out and discontinued several subpoenaed witness statements. This also applies to Labour Party because their matter is, if their matter is as good, is as much as the PDP's. Claim is to say that there is no law in Nigeria that should be unread. The court struck out all witnesses' statements. The issues of Guinean passport and the 460,000 for future, calling the evidences an ambush on the respondent. That is the INEC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shetima and APC. Now, the PDP case has been dismissed without cost. Now, meaning, you know, Samani has a very huge cost. But here, they felt, having done what they have done, that money should not come in. So, Justice Ian Gokoro said again that the election results are presumed true, except the appellants prove otherwise. So, whatever INEC bring before, like all these by-elections that INEC wants to carry, we'll start with that. They are trying to tell you that whatever INEC gives them is presumed to be correct. So whether they take money from somebody and give a wrong result, they are presumed to be correct. Now, it is the same INEC that you are going to ask to give you all the documents that the Supreme Court has said today that is going to prove the otherwise, as they said. Now, this same INEC will not give you that same materials to prove your case. And that's why we said that this constitution has been interpreted today by the Supreme Court must be reviewed, must be changed. Now, without cost means PDP won't pay. Now, let's continue. If the court thinks you wasted their time or the case was too bad, they will order parties to pay some amount. They call this cost. And then other justices are giving their rulings agreeing with Iyan Okoro. So what happened today is after Iyan Okoro, every other justice, not even single one of them, dissent. Dissent means disagree with them because they did that individually, meaning that anybody can disagree with what the other people have said. But Iyan Okoro started it, and the entire appeal, they said, was lacking on merit. And all the judges have also agreed that it was lacking on merit, meaning say, everything where they do, you know, work. Other justices are, you know, they were giving their ruling, agreeing with Iyan Okoro. And Iyan Okoro, after all the entire thing, it was all dismissed, and all the judges have so agreed. So the entirety of Atiku Abubakar's appeal, the motion was thrown out. According to them, they don't know what they wanted to do with that. And the entirety of Labour Party and P2B's appeal is also, they said, was lacking on merit. Now, we know that there is merit, and we also know there's so much technicalities that we're throwing out the door. But let's take a quick one from Kenneth Okonkwo. After the justices has already done what they think Nigerian, he now came out to give us some very 1-minute hint of what he felt was wrong and what was right. Let's take a listen to that. I will come back shortly.
Fine imposed on the second respondent for the proceeds of narcotics and money laundering by the District Court of Illinois. I sat down too. I did not hear it. And I wonder whether that was swept under the carpet or was an oversight, because the lead judgment was detailed on all other issues. And they said all the issues there have been overtaken by event in all our own issues. And I did not hear the issue of the forfeiture. And so that's why I said I disagree respectfully, even though the decision is binding.
The 4% issue has also been laid to rest.
Yes, it has been laid to rest. The Supreme Court has the authority to interpret the Constitution. It is their prerogative as the arm of government imbued with the power to interpret. That is the interpretation they have given to it, and it is binding on us all. That's what I'm going to say on it.
What's your take on the reasoning of IRA? How does it going to affect our future elections?
That is very interesting, because the only paragraph the Supreme Court brought to the notice of the world, which was quite interesting, is that even the Supreme Court agreed that non-uploading of the result on IRA reduced the confidence of the people in the election. I heard it clearly. Meaning that even the Supreme Court agrees that the election was not credible, or as credible as it ought to have been if the result was uploaded. So credibility is one of the three arms of an election for the people. Free, fair, and credible. Credible means believable. Why shut out the people for the right the law has given unto them? So I was very glad that the Supreme Court pointed it out, that not uploading of the result reduced the confidence of Nigerians in it, meaning that it cannot be presumed to be credible because Nigerians were shut out in it. So I love that particular part. Thank you.
So we have heard from Kenneth Okonkwo, and we don't hear as he take talk how 460,000 US dollars for future was swept under the carpet. He said being in court, he never heard PIM about that very thing. But as our own UC Maxwell has joined us, let's hear from him. He was at Supreme Court today, and he got first-hand information on what transpired in court, and he wished to share with us his understanding of that very judgment of the Supreme Court today. So welcome to the show, UC Maxwell.
The platform. So I'll speak very quickly. I don't know which area of the issues you would want me to address, or you want me to address the entire judgment.
Okay. I want you to look at how they jettison the 25% of Abuja. I want you to also look at how they swapped the 460,000 for future drug trafficking for future was not mentioned, and then the other things. Just let's have briefs of those things.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I think it is better that I would give a very brief foundation before I highlight the 2 points that you have raised. It's unfortunate that we've seen this kind of judgment that has come out of, the Supreme Court. Now, on the first issue, which is the 25% in Abuja. Now, the Supreme Court, in its understanding, felt that there is no special status that ascribes to the Abuja people. But they fail to understand, or they fail to look at the fact that the provisions of the law is not about the people who reside in Abuja, but it is majorly about the status of Abuja. The people that reside in Abuja are still Nigerians. So when you are talking about, when the court made mention of looking at the people in Abuja with special status, they are still Nigerians, and every Nigerian has a special status under the law because they occupy the office of citizen. So the status, the speciality is on the fact that Abuja, being the Federal Capital Territory, you know, enjoys that provision under Section 134 of the 1999 Constitution. Can you hear me clearly, Mr. Kanu? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so when we look at the clear provisions of Section 134 of the 1999 Constitution on the requirement to get 1/4 of the votes in 24 in 25 states, in 24 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja, they restricted themselves to the provisions of Section 299 of the 1999 Constitution, which provides that Abuja is to be considered like a state. They fail to realize, or they fail to look into the argument. You know, the document is not yet out, so when we get it, we'll see the entire judgment of the court. But the court failed to look at the fact that Section 299 of the 1999 Constitution is in a different chapter that is, you know, distinct from the entirety of where we have Section 134 of the 1999 Constitution. That when you look at election cases, election in its entirety are special cases, even in our laws, in the Constitution, and in the Electoral Act. So I think that the Supreme Court has not invested much time in looking at the clear provisions of the law on the requirement of the FCT. For you to be able to duly understand the status of the Federal Capital Territory, you need to go a little back in history. When you look at the case of Awolowo and Shagari and how these issues had already been brought before the court, recall that there was no requirement at that time for a person to get 25% in FCT. And at that time, Abuja, as the Federal Capital Territory, already existed. So it was not a mistake that when they were drafting the 1999 Constitution, that provision was inserted there. It was for deliberate reasons. So that after you do your mathematical computations, you can be able to get a round figure that would give you, you know, the necessaries for you to be able to win elections. Taking a step away from that, it was actually pitiful. I was dismayed, was embarrassed. I was, you know, disappointed by the actions, the attitude of the Supreme Court when it addressed the issue of, or when it failed to address the issue of the $460,000 forfeiture by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Recall, Mr. Kanu, that I've spoken on this place several times where I stated that under our laws, when we look at Section 494 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, it is to the effect that anybody who has forfeited a monetary amount, that monetary forfeiture is also a fine. These things are in our laws. The Supreme Court failed to consider this. In fact, the Supreme Court did not mention in the entirety of its judgment today about the forfeiture of $160,000 by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Since they publicized this judgment, they read this judgment to the general public. I don't know what to say, but I think that it was a deliberate attempt not to paint Bola Tinubu as a person who had participated in drug trafficking, in narcotics trafficking, because these facts are there before the court. The documents speak for themselves. These issues were not discountenanced. Bola Tinubu did not argue against these issues at the lower level, at the Court of Appeal. So this deliberate attempt to avoid it, not to talk about it, not to give any judgment on it, when it is a disqualification ground. Recall that when you look at Section 137, subsection 1, paragraph D of the 1999 Constitution, is to the effect that anybody who by any means, whom by any reason has, you know, been sentenced, has paid a fine for any fraudulent or criminal action of that nature by whatever court, by whatever tribunal that has been constituted, such person should not hold the position of, you know, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The court refused to mention this. The court refused to look into it. But I think that probably when we see the full copy of the judgment, we can make a better informed decision. Taking a step away from that, when you look at the issue of the certificate forgery, which is solely restricted to the Atiku Abubakar's case, it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. In fact, I don't know what better words, adjectives, verbs to use anymore to qualify the way I feel or my disappointment at the Supreme Court today. Because when you look at the case where they tendered fresh evidence, or where they moved the motion before the court to tender fresh evidence, the court departed from its earlier judgment. This same Supreme Court had given judgment in several cases in time past where it accepted fresh evidence on appeal. How come when it got to this particular case where Bola Ahmed Tinubu is involved, they decided to depart from the express provisions of the law and from their earlier decisions in several instances? It is unfortunate. Mr. Kanu, if you had listened to the entirety of that judgment, you would see that the Supreme Court deliberately refused to open the Chicago State University deposition. They did not talk anything about the contents of that deposition. They made sure that they come at it from the angle of admissibility, to make sure that the document was not even admissible at all before they now begin to consider the weight or the probative value to add to the document. So these are the things. The Supreme Court, which is expected to do a thorough job, refused to do that thorough job. They refuse to consider the major issues. So the truth is, the Supreme Court has affirmed, they have set a precedent. What is the fate of other cases that are before the court? We have several other petitions that are before, tribunals that are before the Court of Appeal that are awaiting decision. What is the fate? The Supreme Court also, when it was talking about, the need for deposition for a witness on oath to be front-loaded for a subpoena witness, the Supreme Court failed to consider the reasonability in it. Because how do you tell a person whom you are ordering to the court to front-load a document when at the time you are to file your document within the 21 days that is prescribed by the law, you cannot get access to the person, the panel has not been consulted? The same thing applied to this particular case. Because Mr. Kanu, that nobody knew the justices that were to sit and hear this matter until on Monday. So if that the parties were supposed to move a motion to probably, if it was a court of first instance, to move a motion or probably request for a subpoena, where was the panel that was going to see by it and issue that subpoena so that they can front load witness statements on oath? So we've seen a clear departure from the provisions of the law. I feel that, the truth is, some people feel that we shouldn't say these things, but it is true that, the Supreme Court is not final because they are infallible, but they are only infallible because they are final. The fact that their infallibility is only linked to their finality. So it means that just because of their final, that is, people think they cannot make mistakes. But they are all human beings who can make mistakes and who can decide either deliberately or, carelessly not to follow the express provisions of the law. So this is an abuse to me on our democracy, because the Supreme Court has just affirmed a certificate forger to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Supreme Court has affirmed the person who has forfeited $460,000, which are proceeds of narcotic trafficking and money laundering in the United States of America. They have affirmed him to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Supreme Court have affirmed an election that is clearly horrible, that is clearly an abuse to the provisions of the law. Section 64, subsection 4 to the Electoral Act, Section 60, subsection 6, subsection 5 of the Electoral Act, clause 38, clause 48 of the regulations and guidelines to the conduct of elections 2022 are clear to the effect that you need to upload these things, and they affect the integrity of the election. Anything that has affected the integrity of any setting has already affected the substantial part of it. Because indeed, what is the objective of the Electoral Act when it was passed in 2022? It is to make sure that votes are not manipulated, to make sure that results are not manipulated, that results are safeguarded from the place of the polling units to the place of collation. These are the issues, and the court refused blatantly to the face of the whole world to consider these major issues.
All right, thank you very much, Maxwell. The explanation is very clear and very direct. Thank you with all that one. Our people and the obedience worldwide, will they tell on us, say, hope, Dave, as far as Niger Day. Hope, Dave, because without hope, how you even take waka? We go still they come out every day, we go they preach hope, we go hold obedience together. Because we need to be together to make sure that we attain the new Nigeria that is possible. We still have our belief, and we are still confident that Peter Obi is the man that should, take Nigeria to a very good height. And we continue to say and and in each day say that Peter Obi is our president as far as we are concerned. But that doesn't mean that Bola Tinubu has not been affirmed the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is. But it is for the people who believe on him to continue to do that, why we have our own mandate to believe on what we want to believe in, which is the person we believe will give us a good tidings. So today is, like Angel started with, is a black day. It's a day that Nigeria mourns. A black Thursday in Nigeria, where the Supreme Court of Nigeria turned Constitution upside down. But they are the last say. Yes, they are the last, and there is nothing we can do about that. The only thing we can do is to hold ourselves together and chart on a new course, how moving forward. So make we come back for studio. As we come back, Angel, I hear say Tinubu within cabinet, then don't they rejoice? As then they rejoice, then they talk say make Peter Obi and Atiku congratulate them, say make them join hands together to make Nigeria to become a better place. How they come? I even want make you look at this thing from the time where Tinubu enter. That time, dollar they like I think 400 and something naira. But how many months down the line now? Dollar day 1,000 plus. It don't they pursue 1,005. You understand? Like 3 times. The economy situation in the country is going so bad. When he came in, I also want you to look at the position that the fuel price was it 200 and something, and within these weeks that he has been there, it's like we are now dealing with 600 and something. How do you see all of this moving forward?
To start with, you cannot tell somebody you stole his thing to congratulate you. The person is not happy. And Yakubu Mahmood is still working freely because he is on their side. Because if justice was delivered today, trust me, Mahmood will go to prison because he committed atrocities. Yes, not even 1, not even 2. Because how can you tell somebody you stole my thing, say congratulate you, let's join hands and work? Work what? What are you working? Because both of you are going different places. Peter Obi is going from consumption to production. Tinubu is going from borrowing to consuming. They are two opposite people. They cannot work together. It's a fact. Those rejoicing and congratulating him are the people that are eating our money. When they borrow money, instead of them to put it in infrastructure, they are busy sharing it. Why won't they rejoice? They will rejoice because the hardship is not getting to them. But one thing I know and I believe in is in nemesis. I believe in that so much. Because over 200 million Nigerians that are crying, praying unto God, God's ears are not deaf. He hears, but at his own time. You see that thing Samani did, you see this one Inyang Okoro did today, they will reap it. They will reap the fruit of their labor at the appropriate time. Yes, Nigerians don't lose hope. My obedient family, don't lose hope. Inyang and Samani will reap it. Even Samani is already reaping his own. They will all repeat. Okay, how do we even move along? How do we even congratulate him? Just like Mr. Kanu said, dollar, when Buhari was there, everybody was shouting 400 and something naira per dollar. Even when he promised $1 to 1 naira when he came in or when he was campaigning. Just look at it. We are not up to 1 year. We are not up to 1 year. Not even up to 3 months. I don't think from May to now is up to 3 months. Okay, let's say 3 to 4 months if it's up to that. Then dollar from 400 It's now 1,003 something. My people, how do we survive it? How do we move on? How do we work together? Okay, look at fuel. From 100 and something, Tinubu increased, Buhari increased it to 2 something. And now, 700 and how many people still use their cars? Except you are going for an important occasion or important place. Because once fuel increases, transportation of food item increases too. Because the sellers will have to transport their goods. My people, it's so disheartening. Today is a sad day. Nigerian months. Nigerians have been stripped off of their citizenship. Nigerian courts where technicalities work when you have your money. Is it supposed to be so? Where is the thing they said, oh, court is the last hope of woman, of the poor man, of the masses? Where is it? My people, my heart bleeds. My heart bleeds.
Okay.
Veterans knows that Peter Obi won 2023 general election. He won it clean and clear. But INEC, Yakub Mahmoud, selected Tinubu and gave us. No problem. Yakubu Mahmoud will reap what he sowed at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you, Angel. I see say the thing still the vex you for body, but it's okay. All the obedience worldwide will continue coming out every day to bring the updates on what is going on, because the matter has not ended to an extent. The man in the US, Aaron Greenspan, is still there, in still pushing. Even as at today, if you check, let me even bring you up to speed, that he has continued to push the court in the US to release these documents. At least let the Nigerians know. Let well-meaning Nigerians know the extent of the issues that are at the head of Tinubu. So let's look at the documents that he filed before the U.S. District Court, District of Columbia, that is Washington, D.C. So this very new document, we can see him pleading in the court and giving them the notice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria that Supreme Court is giving judgment today, and he is still asking the court to tell all the FBI, the CIA to fast track that thing. He called it plaintiff's request for judicial notice. And let me take it from here. He said, pursuant to Federal Rule of Evidence 201, Plaintiff Aaron Greenspan respectfully requests that the court take judicial notice of the attached documents identified below. Courts routinely take judicial notice of documents filed in other courts, not for the truth of the matters asserted in the other litigation, but rather to establish the fact of such litigation and related filings. He said, although the Supreme Court of Nigeria is not a United States court, it is a court, and this court may therefore take notice of its proceedings. Furthermore, a federal court may take judicial notice of a fact that is not subject to reasonable dispute, if the fact can be accurately and readily determined from sources where accuracy cannot reasonably be questioned. So he said the plaintiff believes that the Nigerian news article referenced below comes from reputable sources and backed by factual evidence. According to plaintiff's request that the court take judicial notice of the following. 1. That the Supreme Court of Nigeria document noticing that judgment will be delivered in the matter SC/CV/935/2023 concerning the February 2023 Nigerian presidential election. And he displayed the notice by the Nigerian Supreme Court that they are going to give us judgment today. So, and is Victor Bola Ahmed Tinubu on an accelerated schedule on Thursday, October 26, being today. The document is dated today, Wednesday, October 25, 2023. And he said, a People's Gazette article dated March 2023 entitled Exclusive, Chief Justice Ariwola disguises on wheelchair in London hotel for secret meeting with Bola Tinubu and Ademola Akintade and Ayola Babalola. So, now this judicial notice is proper because the documents' existence and authenticity cannot reasonably be questioned. The first document from the Supreme Court of Nigeria could not be referenced previously in these proceedings because it was created only today. Dated October 25, 2023, respectfully submitted, Aaron Greenspan. Now back to studio. This is Aaron Greenspan, an American who is not even an African, who is not even a black African, American, but a white. Now, he's still fighting in the District Court of the United States, prompting the court to ask FBI and CIA and all the respective government agencies that has documents that are pertaining to Tinubu to release them. Now we know that Supreme Court today has finally, they went so fast as we know to give out this judgment. But this man here, Aaron Greenspan, was rushing to make sure that they released this document before this judgment. But I guess they beat him to it. But having beaten him to it does not mean that he has laid to rest. I know that within the next 4 days, as expected, as promised by FBI, that documents will be released. And when they are released, we are going to see what the Agbados may have overlooked. Yet, we know the Supreme Court of Nigeria might not go back from its work, cannot go back to its vomit as the case might be, but there is something very significant that is going to happen. Nigerians will know further truth. Let's take a listen to what David Hundayi said earlier today, again, because he knew that what this very judge, the Justice of Supreme Court, are going to give. Let's take a listen at what David Hundayi said earlier today.
It's going to raise further questions because regardless of what the Supreme Court does, obviously we know what the Supreme Court is going to do today. They're going to do the exact same thing the appeal court did, find a technicality with which to dismiss the new evidence being introduced into the court and then declare Tinubu the winner. Newsflash. But regardless of what happens today, what these documents are going to do is that they are going to raise the issue of whether Tinubu's position is in fact tenable, politically speaking, going forward. Because to the best of my knowledge, in Nigeria's entire post-colonial history, it has never happened that a sitting head, to the best of my knowledge, not even Babangida had that level of scandal hanging over his head, and that was a very corrupt person. So this is many levels above anything we have ever had to deal with. And I think we're going to start seeing questions surrounding, for example, the possibility of impeachment. I know under the Nigerian political system, impeaching a sitting president is next to impossible, but these are conversations that are almost inevitably going to arise. They're going to start seeing conversations about prosecution in international courts. So if you recall, something similar to when the former president of Sudan, Omar al-Bashir, when he got to a point when he was actually wanted internationally, he was the subject of an ICC investigation, and he actually couldn't travel freely. If you remember, on one occasion when he traveled on a state visit to South Africa, and he had to leave South Africa at short notice because he was notified that he was going to be arrested shortly, right? These things are possible, even if someone is a sitting head of state. These are issues, or the specters of these things are, inevitably going to be raised when the contents of these files become public in about 4 days' time. So, I guess all we have to do is just sit down and watch it play out.
So let's see how these things work out. We've heard from from David Hundein and also, but coming back before, Esther, you were telling me something that Aisha Yusuf, our comrade, that she mentioned one or two things which you were explaining earlier. Can you please come again on it?
Our own comrade, she was like, if you are waiting every woman in Nigerian and obedient mind, everybody knows that Peter Obi is the person, is the man that won the 2023 presidential election. And Tinubu, as a certificate forger, a criminal, a drug lord, so many baggages on him. I don't even know where he's going to lead the country. Somebody that has such baggages and stains and everything on him. I don't know where he's going to lead the country to. Well, anyway, let's make we hear him from Aisha mouth as she take talk.
Okay, Aisha, we had the video of Aisha.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a listen to that.
Chimamanda did something. She introduced Peter Obi as the man that won the 2023 election in Nigeria. Peter Obi won the 2023 election. And let me tell those who think that, oh, criminality, there's something smart. There's nothing smart about it. There's nothing smart about criminality. The election was won by someone and another person rigged his way into office. And of course, you have the whole system rigged to continue to enforce nonsense. Whatever enforcement they want to do, they can continue to do that. But that goodwill of the people, that support, personally, not me. Tinubu can never ever be my president. He is not. He's a certificate forger who has rigged his way into office. And for the Supreme Court talking about what do you call it now, talking about technicalities and all of that, well, they can go ahead and continue to do it. But for me, I take on the Chimamanda spirit, where wherever I go, if there's anything that needs to, that's the person that Nigeria, the majority of Nigerians gave their mandate to. And I will continue to repeat that. Civil coup, political coup must be treated the way military coups are treated.
That is the comrade, Aisha. That is the spirit where we are. We know our own president, and that very one now we there. With that very one, I say, wherever on a day, all well meaning of it, may on a like and share. This is Obedient Family TV. Make on a like and share, make other people know. We go still they come out every day. We go start to introduce our Obedient Family TV hangout, so that all the obedient go the hangout, so that we go see how we go help other obedience will be said and done there for this Nigeria, because not be everybody fit japa, you understand. So we go to put our head together to see how the obedience fit survive for this kind of economy, so that we go to take that very one, they go until God will come rescue us for where we find ourselves. So make on a like and share, make it reach other people. With that very one, we go begin the waka they go. May I pass my give angel, make we for carry our car they go until tomorrow.
Thank you so much, my lovely and intelligent, obedient worldwide. Thank you so much, Maxwell, for staying with us, for being with us for the analysis, even though say everybody they moody. No wahala. Credible means believable. INEC knew it. Justice Inyang knew it. Even Samani, all of them know am. Say this election are the worst so far. The 300 billion where we spend, taxpayers' money where we spend for beavers, are nonsense. They knew it. But no problem. They cannot run forever. Now God now have the final say. Not even them. Our hope still dey gidigbam for God hand, not for our leaders hand. Because if we believe and hope in them, my people, na die be that. But God no go allow them. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe. Thumbs up to the video. Do your own evangelism. Make other obedient they hear waiting they happen. My people, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. We love you, but God loves you more. Bye for now.